So it seems.
I love her. If only she'd be my queen. Merlin, can you make her love me?
Now look, I once stood exposed to the dragon's breath so that a man could lie one night with a woman. It took me 9 moons to recover and all for this lunacy called love, this mad distemper that strikes down both beggar and king. Never again. Never.
Who will I marry then? You can tell me that at least. What do you say? Huh?
Oh, Guinevere. And a beloved friend will betray you. Guinevere. You're not listening. Your heart is not. Love is deaf as well as blind. That's it. You have a land to quell before you can start all this hair pulling and jumping about.
I've made these only for you. I've mixed into them things that will heal you. Not too quickly. And they'll make you a little sleepy, so you can't escape.
What's in them?
It's an ancient mixture. Soft, unborn grains, flavored with rose petals. The rest is secret.
Looking at the cake's like looking at the future. Until you've tasted it, what do you really know? And then, of course, it's too late. Too late.
Alright, Shalom. I want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Karkadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Salutation to all the brothers and a few sisters out there. Unto the Israelite foreigners from the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Shalom in the Hebrew, which means peace. It's going to be a quick show through the spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua. I mean, if you haven't seen it, I highly suggest watch this movie called Excalibur. Seen it many years ago. But a lot of profane things. The acting was real well done. And it's a great movie, man. It's a great movie. A lot of truth in the movie. And if anything, if brothers out there gonna ever watch anything, watch movies that are old, that have meanings behind everything. You know, this may not be your forte. Hey, even The Godfather. Godfather, there's a lot of gems that's thrown in there. A lot of gems, a lot of action. You can see that movie hundreds of times, and there's so many different aspects of in it. You know, how to conduct yourself, how to be a man, how to think with your how not to get emotional. You realizing that I'm talking about Godfather in the movie. There was a scene that was cut out of the movie because we so familiar with the movie where Sonny lost it when he found out his sister got beat up again by her husband, right? Before the massacre that took place on him. But there was a scene that was cut out when the husband was correcting his wife during the family dinner with the Godfather there, and Sonny wanted to react, and his father's like, chill, like that's between them. That's between a married couple. So that little scene right there, even that didn't really get played like that. That was heavy in itself. And I find this scene, there's other couple scenes in this movie that's real heavy, but I find this one in particular very, very heavy, because here it is, Merlin's supposed to be a prophet. King Arthur, obviously, he's a king. And Merlin's whole thing is, look, I crowned you as king. You have a duty, as king, and your concern should be about the land, about this and that. But his mind was, as a young man, his mind was stuck. Like, I like this girl. I like this girl a lot. Obviously this is a King Arthur and everything like that. That wasn't based on true story. That was just that was a made up story, but the timing was around what they call the medieval times when Jake was ruling. But there's a lot of things in this story that applies to this very day, to this very moment. But in particular, this scene, because he got injured, and she's being, being a woman. She was showing her nurturing side and everything like that. But before she came in and did this, Merlin was telling him what's gonna happen. Like, yo, she's gonna be your wife, but she's gonna commit adultery on you. And his whole thing was like, oh, I gotta have her. But I was like, you're not hearing what I'm saying? So this scene right here was so profound right here. So she made a bread, and she said there's medicine in it. And he's like, what? What's in it? He said, oh, some medicine. But let me just play this part. I love this part.
And they'll make you a little sleepy, so you can't escape.
What's in them?
It's an ancient mixture. Soft, unborn grains, flavored with rose petals. The rest is secret.
Looking at the cakes like looking at the future. Until you've tasted it, what do you really know? And then...
yo, man, he just dropped a hell of a... And then, he's narrating, he's telling him... So, if you don't understand what he's saying, basically, he's like, looking at the cake is like looking at the future. So, what's really in it, and she's holding secrets, and he's comparing the cake to the woman that he just gave him the cake. And he's so, and that happens to all of us. But this is it's very important to understand what he was saying. I'm going to play that back.
Looking at the cakes like looking at the future. Until you've tasted it, what do you really know? And then, of course, it's too late.
And then, of course, it's too late. So, if majority of men knew whatever woman that he was going to get with, what the future would hold. Think about it, man. Think about it. Like, if she was going to drive you crazy, put you on child support, and do all these other things, because you're looking at the outer appearance of this woman. I'm not saying I'm guiltless in this. We all fall for that shit. Because that's what the society promotes. It promotes, we are attracted to women and their beauty. But what's really behind it, especially now these days, these women are more demonic than they've ever been. And I remember, growing up as a young man, I thought the women back then was evil as all hell. You couldn't trust something about it. You couldn't trust them because it was always up to something. But especially now these days, all right. So a lot of them got fake bodies. They got the fake eyelashes. They got the fake everything. They're just fake. We live in a fake society with fake people. So when you look at something as beautiful outwardly, that's giving you a taste of what the future holds. And he still ate it. And she told him what was in it. And she said, oh, a little secret. She was being her childish self, like, being a typical woman. But there was merit and truth into that. This one little scene alone, that was heavy. That was profoundly heavy. And he's telling him, he's being a prophet, he's being a seer, like, look, this is what's gonna happen to you if you get with this woman. He's like, I don't care. I gotta have her. Because if you watch the movie, his father was the same fucking way. So you can't be blinded to the fact of beauty. You have to use your inner, I would say your inner eye, but you have to use the spirit and discern things properly. Because this truth of ours is about discerning things. The same time you go to the store to buy some food, and tomatoes look real red. That doesn't mean the tomatoes are healthy. Sometimes tomato comes green and it's still good, but it's a way how things look outwardly we judge a matter instead of looking at it how it's really helping us. Because a lot of things that we eating to this very day, to this very moment, it's not good for us. It's not. You know? It's just not. And we always find ourselves in this predicament. But, you know, that was just another tidbit. But, yeah, that scene right there was... Now, let me get this one real quick. I'll make this short. Sirach 9:2. Give not thy soul unto a woman to set her foot upon thy substance. So don't give yourself your soul. The scripture says in... I was going to look for it, but I ain't going to do it. But in Proverbs... And I just seen another... That was kind of ill, but... another... You know, one of those guys... He's probably like the Pastor Bros, whatever. But he put a clip. Even a woman said, don't give your strength to a woman. That's what Solomon's mother told him. Don't give thy strength to a woman. Especially now these days. Now these days, these women are more deadlier than they ever been. You know? The one we're going to have the upper hand is when Jacob's trouble was in play. And even in that sense, you can't trust these bitches. I'll say, basically, if you spiritual powers, man. That's the only thing that's going to discern anything. Because women are masters of trapping the men up. All right? They'll be loyal to you to a certain degree. Because they naturally hypergamy. All right? And those sisters that's with their man, stay with your man. That act alone will save you. All right? Stay with you got. That sense of loyalty. It says, meet not with an harlot, lest thou fall into her snares. And that's what's in that scene right there. Guinevere, you know, King Arthur's wife, soon to be wife, and this, she had set up a trap. Here she is. Oh, hold on. Think about the logic in the story with that. Think of the logics. King Arthur's a king. He's King Arthur, right? The highest ranking man in his kingdom. Yet she still wanted to sleep with the fucking whatchamacallit. So you can't really trust these women at all, man. History has shown, and that's why we must put out everything with Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. There's another scene. I'm gonna use that in another show. But it says, use not much the company of women that is a singer. At least thou be taken with her attempts. Because you have a lot of females that have skills of singing, right? It's like a banshee. And banshees are known for, if I'm not mistaken, like the myth is that they're female mermaids. Oh no, sirens, I'm thinking of. Female mermaids or something like that. And they'll have the, the sailors jump off and kill themselves because they sing on the top of the thing. I just use that for example. That doesn't exist, but that's how a lot of these men get caught up. All right. It says, gaze not on a maid that thou fall not by those things that are precious in her. Give not thy soul unto harlots, that thou lose not thy inheritance. You got these guys that's going out there and losing everything just to impress these girls, man. And here it is. What's that bitch name again? Gorilla, that ugly, disgusting, telling these young girls to be toxic. So we're fighting against, first and foremost, you're fighting against yourself. Second enemy is you fighting against Esau, so-called white man. Then I would say, matter of fact, you could flip it. First, always number one, yourself. Second will be the woman. All right, she is your enemy in this state because you don't have no power. We bear no power. Even the most powerful individuals that has the money, that has, like I said, that is, even though it's not a real, King Arthur's not a real character, but he was the king, and yet she still cheated with him, with his underling. According to the story, according to how the myth goes. All right. So that it gives you a narrative idea, and that's not the first, and that's not the last. There's plenty of other modern day stories. Another film, Casino. Robert De Niro played what's his name? He played a so-called Jew that was working with the mob, and he had it's Tapino, something like that. Well, whatever. He met this girl named Ginger. I never forgot that, cause I remember he wanted to kill that bitch, but she played Sharon Stone played Ginger, and in that film, now he's the head. He's a top guy, right? Top guy, made kind of. He's a made man. He's not made as like in the mafia, because according to the Italian mob, you have to be fully blown Italian or Sicilian. They gotta go check your bloodline, blah blah blah. But he wasn't made like that. But he was one of the top earners, and he was pretty much untouchable. Yet she's still gonna fuck his friend. All right. I can't remember. It was Joe Pesci that played the friend. I forgot the guy was his name. Forgive me, but I'm just focusing on this thing. But it shows you how women they think. They think backwards, you know. So don't give your strength to something that thinks like that. You know, put your strength and your thoughts and your everything into the Lord, and the Lord is gonna give you the right woman for you to deal with. You know, it may not be on this side. Man, fuck this side. This side at this point, we better off by ourselves, because everything's corrupted. It's polluted. You know, these people's mind are gone. It says, "Look not round about thee in the streets of the city, neither wander thou in the solitary place thereof. Turn away thine eye from a beautiful woman, and look not upon others' beauty, for many have been deceived by the beauty of a woman. For herewith love is kindled as fire," which is talking about lust. All right. And people lust after the wrong thing. And it goes on about other things, but I just wanted that key point. I could bring this out. Amos 7:17. "Therefore thus saith the Lord, thy wife shall be an harlot in the city." All right, which is self-explanatory. The Israelite women, blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, if they was born here, second generation, they're gonna be harlots, man. Because a woman's supposed to know one man her entire life. That one man, that's it. You got this the whole thing with Brittany Griner, whatever her name is. Oh, no, not Griner. I'm saying Brittany Griner. That bitch that was dealing with PJ something, and just recently, she was with some podcast and acting a fool, acting mad. She's only 31 years old. She's gone. She was, you know, it just show you like, and here it is. Women would be mad and like men would talk bad about them, but let's be realistic. How many men from other countries are coming over here to wife you up? All right, enough said. Because you show no worth, and you show no value. The Babylonian women today are worthless. They're evil, they're sadistic, they're self-centered. You know, well, all women are narcissistic in one form or fashion, but the Western way is poison, and a lot of people fall for that trap. So the Lord said this was going to happen to us, because we as a nation, we was harlots in the sight of the Lord, for we was going after other gods. All right, here it is. The Lord gave us everything that we can see and talk to us, yet we look beyond the fact. You know, we have to learn things the hard way. Because what? At the end of the day, we're carnal creatures. And right now, the Spirit is what's guiding us. Okay? And I'm just, like I said, I'm not going to make this long. Just be very aware. Be aware of your surroundings and who you surround yourself with in the near future, especially when all hell's about to break loose. You know, be very what's that word looking for? Not decisive, but question everything. You know? Micah 7:5. It said, thus, or trust ye not in a friend, put ye not confidence in a guide. All right? Meaning what? What is confidence? With faith. So don't put your faith on a guide or anybody. Follow the Spirit of the Lord. Keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom. So here it is, the scriptures been dropped. This is a complete, the scriptures is the book, the red book. You know how they have the red, what do you call it? The red pill movement and all that. That's nothing. That's like a excerpt, like just a few lines. The scriptures itself tells you everything that you need to know. Why you need to know that. All right? This is the real red book. This is the real woke. Telling you, don't be spilling your guts to these women. And to give you an example, what was the main example was Samson. You know? Samson, Adam. Great men that fell short because of the weaker vessel. So we're not supposed to, be more wiser. Pray to have more wisdom. Because it's not just going to be the wife of your bosom. It's going to tell you, for the sons dishonoreth the father, the daughter raise up against her mother, the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's enemies are the men of his own house. So everybody's going to turn on people in the near future. So don't look at things in a carnal sense. Look at things in a spiritual sense. Brothers got to be more in tune with the Spirit. It says, therefore, I will look unto the Lord, and I will wait for the Most High of my salvation. My power will hear me. And it's all about waiting on the Lord. Yeah, it's like, but people have been saying that for... Listen, man. At this point, if you can't see all the prophecies popping out in the New York, like really one last major prophecy to take place, and you thinking in that mind frame, you're not in the right spirit, man. This is the point of everything. This is why we was built for these moments. We went through, meet people, life lessons and so forth. Take all that and apply it to these latter days. People are going to try to use you, try to abuse you, Pray to the Lord. Let the Lord guide you. It says, rejoice not against me, O my enemy. When I fall, I shall arise. When I sit in the darkness, the Lord shall be a light unto me. Because when this truth, we are isolated from this world. The world don't like us. They hate us because we different from everybody else. So that alone is tension. You try to be true with them, and they're not playing the same game as you. They playing the game. You being honest and so forth. So when we fall, nobody's there to help us. It's just us and the Lord. And the Lord did that for a reason. It says, I will bear the indignation of the Lord, which is his righteous anger. So whatever brothers are going through, especially now these days, that's a righteous indignation from the Lord. The Lord is giving us the ultimate life lesson that we need. Because I have sinned against him until he plead my cause and execute judgment for me. He will bring me forth to the light, and I shall behold his righteousness. Then she that is my enemy shall see it. And a woman don't necessarily have to, like, I hate this nigga, this, that. It's by your acts alone. If you're not loyal to your husband or that man of the Lord, that act alone shows you are an enemy to the Lord. You're an enemy to this man, and you're an enemy to the Lord. All right? And I use that film as an example. Even though he did forgive her, that. But in reality, she did commit adultery on him. And by law, She's supposed to be put to death. But if you want to be in the forgiving stage, he could forgive her. But he can't deal with her no more, which he didn't do in that film. In the other movies, there's a whole bunch of different stuff. But she became his enemy. You know? It says, shame shall cover her, which said unto me, where is the Lord thy power? So there's always this notion that, you know, you're lame, you're not exciting, this, that, to the third, and what you believe is BS because they want to be entertained at the time, at the moment. Then they become your enemy. Then they, instead of helping you, which that proves that what the apostles and the brothers call their women demons or Satan, they got by every right to call them that because they are the enemy. All right? When somebody's come against you, hey, the Lord called Peter Satan, right? Because Peter was trying to say, when the Lord said, look, I'm about to get crucified, he said, no, Lord, I ain't gonna allow that to happen. He said, then he called him Satan. Because you're going against what the Lord is doing. So if you're going against your Lord, which is your husband, you're going against what the Lord is doing. You are the adversary. Flat out, point blank, period. All right? It says, shame shall cover her, which said, where is the Lord thy power? My eyes shall behold her. Now shall she be trodden down as the mire of the streets, which is going to take place in the near future, because the Lord has pumped up the pride of these women, these fake, fraudulent she-beasts, and all the excitement that they wanted in their lives. That, you got the excitement. Now you're about to get excitement 10 times worse. And this time, there's going to be no cops. There's going to be no man to save you out of your. There's going to be no daddies, no uncles, no brothers, no cousins you could call up to help you. It's about to get real out here. It's about to get real. So there's consequences, repercussions that you never thought in your mind that's going to take place. You want to be toxic? You want to do all this crazy shit? Go ahead. Don't look for the man of the Lord to come and assist you. But like that bitch said, she don't want to be saved. Well, you're not going to be saved. Don't worry. Nobody's going to come and assist you. Nobody's going to come and aid you. No knight in shining armor. You just going to get what's coming to you. So with that being said, we'll something real quick to the spirit. Shalom. To the elect of the nation is Shalom.